Matt, we talked to them about it a little bit. Dave being more hands-on, Coach GP being back there. What's that been like for you, just to kind of, those are three pretty good minds together. I'm including you in that group.
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been amazing for me, for sure. If you were going to, formulate a list of best defensive minds in college football over the last, 10 years, and even longer than that with GP, then you would definitely have both those two guys on the list, that's for sure, and they'd be close to the top. It's been amazing for me. Like, I always feel like I have a learner, grower mentality, no matter what my role is, and to be able to learn for those two guys it's been awesome. GP's been coaching for 42 years. He's broken a lot of huddles and, won championships, won big-time ball games, developed a lot of NFL players, and played really good defensive football for a lot of years, just about everywhere he's been. And so that's been awesome. And then, the last time Coach called it, he won a national championship and was, probably the best in the game in college football at that point in time. And to just kind of recap, man, it's been great.
What's the kind of balance, I guess, in putting your input in there, but also having Dave step in and maybe GP just kind of, do you guys draw each other, or is it just you add something and then he's like, oh, maybe we try something different?
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's kind of a shared commitment. I think everybody's working together for sure, but I'm usually leaning on them as much as maybe they're leaning on me. It's been great. I feel like there's always kind of unknowns of how it's going to work, but I don't think it could be any better right now, to be honest. It's been really cool.
Are you going about this year any differently than you have in the past, or is it business as usual?
No. I think the roles are set. They're very clear. Everybody kind of knows what it takes, especially with those three guys, on how to win a championship in this league and what it looks like. And so we know the work that needs to be done. Me personally, I know the work that needs to be done. It's not a lighter load. It's not a heavier load. It takes what it takes. And so I think we're all grinding really, really hard to put the best product out on the field, this upcoming fall, and we're going to do that. So that's the plan.
Man, you've got some experience in that room that maybe hadn't been there before. You've got a lot of experience, guys. Does that help in terms of?
No, it really does. We're bringing back, 3 or 4 guys that played a lot of snaps last year, and a couple of others that played a good number of snaps. And a couple of those guys played really good football last year. And then to add Kendrick and a couple of Chris Wakoma, Cam Jenkins, it's been awesome. And then even there's been guys that have made such growth this spring, through hard work, effort, and they've kind of been behind the scenes, and excited to see what they do with their opportunities, moving forward.
What does a guy like Kendrick add specifically to that group?
Yeah, so he is, he can be dynamic, and he is dynamic. But I'm saying there's times, man, where he's just different. He's a seasoned vet. He's played a lot of snaps. He's played really good football. He's got a good feel in and around the box. And the thing I love about him is he's a worker. It'll be a walkthrough day. It's not even a practice day, and he wants to stay after and get extra work, not to work on something he's good at, but to work on something that he feels like he needs to improve on. And so I've seen his game, really kind of add a whole nother arsenal this spring, and I think he's going to be a great element, on the defense side of football for us.
Matt, defense as a whole, lost a couple of the big D linemen up front, but how do you feel like that whole group the whole defense is coming together?
Yeah, I've been impressed with the D-line. Noakes has done an unbelievable job. I feel like the guys that were here last year, even though they were maybe young, they were groomed by, Dennis Johnson, who is now with the Baltimore Ravens. So they were groomed by a really good freaking teacher. And I think for us to play our best football on defense, we're going to have to win up front. We're going to have to win the line of scrimmage and stop the run, and we're going to have to get after the quarterback. So they're a really important group. And they're a group that I've probably seen just as much growth out of this spring as any group. And so I'm excited about them.
We've heard a lot kind of about that up-tempo offense that Spavital's been bringing. How has that helped you, I guess, in the defense, just prepare for that? Because obviously you're going to see it a lot during the season.
Yeah, to me, in this league and then even in our non-conference schedule, like we're going to see that style of offense. And so it helps us tremendously in regards to prep and being prepared for it. We see it on a day in, day out basis. A lot of offenses feel like, man, this is our advantage. And so it kind of negates it, when you see it all the time. And then all of a sudden when things slow down and it's a huddle up offense and stuff like that, to me it's so much. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say easier. That was the word that I was going to start to say. But it is. It kind of preps you, to where you're almost overtraining, if that makes any sense. The first couple of practices we went out there, it like hit us in the gut. Like we were like, holy moly. I think a lot of our guys were winded, through the first, whatever it was, first rack, first drive, where they were going competition and they're moving the ball and tempo. And then, there's times like today, it's like, man, guys could go back-to-back 2 drives. Like they've kind of gotten conditioned for it. So I think it's helped our defensive just stamina, conditioning across the board. I think it's helped our mental toughness a little bit, just from the standpoint of, we know that we still got to play, in those long drive situations when they really got us on our heels and got us on the ropes. So I think it's been great for a lot of things. Been really excited about, that offense. So.
Across the whole team, coaching staff, all of it, can you notice any difference, a change in vibe or intensity this year than kind of last year?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot more urgency. It really, you can tell with our guys right now, with our players, it really matters. It kind of got a little chippy out there today, and that's because of the competition, and it's because guys care. Like they want to win the drill, they don't want to lose, right? And and so I think from that standpoint, everybody's got a chip on their shoulder right now. There's a lot more urgency. I think the energy that the new staff members have brought has been amazing. I think our players have fed off of it, and I think it's only going to breed excellence for us in the future.
Can you sense that same thing in Coach Aranda specifically?
Oh, absolutely. No, it's been really cool to see him kind of in his element, diving in football and being immersed with it. Not that he wasn't involved before, it's just that he is immersed in it right now, and it's been cool too because GP's, kind of got that experience of being a head coach and a defensive play caller. And of the people that have done that, he might be at the top of that list. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that growth in general, has been seen, very visibly.
Devin, I guess just what's it been like? You guys are close to wrapping up. How do you feel like the spring has gone?
I feel like it's been real good, real competitive. I feel like everybody's here trying to learn. I can see a difference from last year, just with everybody kind of being more mature. It's kind of cool to see the light click for everybody and put it all together.
Sort of wrapping up spring practice, what have you seen, I guess, through the past couple of weeks, and what, I guess, isn't a positive step for you guys making these past couple of weeks go?
Yeah, like I said, it just feels like everybody in the secondary is kind of more experienced now, so we're kind of all working together now. We understand where our help is, and I feel like that's been helping us make plays and limit big plays.
What do you think flipped that switch? What do you think made you all more confident in that regard?
I think just experience, just knowing that you've done it before. So when you've done something, it's kind of like you have something to build on. So this year, I feel like we've been building in a positive direction.
You still got Coach Powledge back there with you, but obviously Dave being more hands-on with the defense. How has that changed things, or has it changed things on the back end?
It's changed things for sure, but I feel like the biggest part is probably GP, Gary Patterson. He loves working with the safety, so he's been having a lot of input with us. Him and Coach Powell been working together. So it's been cool to see 2 intellectuals go back and forth and give us things to work on.
Have you noticed a difference in Coach Powledge at all this year? What's he like compared to last year?
Same old Coach Powell is hungry, always trying to learn. That's one thing I love about Coach Powell. no matter what, he's always down to learn more. Especially with GP, like it's kind of like humbling for players because sometimes it feels like we don't want to hear people talk to us, but then when you see a coach listen to another coach, take ideas from him, it kind of humbles you.
Kind of three of those coaches almost with Dave, GP, and then Powledge. You know, what's that like? I guess just seeing them bounce off of each other.
It's crazy. Sometimes I'll hear Aranda and Patterson talk, and it kind of sounds like they talking like calculus 3 or something crazy. So I'm like, hey coach, you gotta like simplify that for me a little bit. And you know, they break it down so they make it really easy to understand. But it's really interesting, especially when they get on the board. It's really cool. So
we heard a little bit earlier from the cornerbacks when we talked to them, just kind of how much they've improved as a unit. Do you think that's kind of the same defensive, kind of just in that defensive backs group in terms of the improvement from last year to this year?
Definitely, I feel like everything's more contested. There's like less busts, so there's less just easy touchdowns. I feel like that's the main thing I've seen this spring.
What about some of the newbies in that room? What have they brought, and what have they added to the group?
So we have Chris, we have Cam. I love them. They both come and they trying to learn. Sometimes as a freshman, like Chris for instance, sometimes freshmen come in, they kind of feel like they know it all. But Chris has been really open to learn, and he's been improving every day. And Cam already had a little bit of experience at UNLV, so he's been good too. And of course, you got Kendrick over here. That boy, the best blitzer on the team. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, what has he brought, you think, to the team?
Kendrick?
Yeah.
He just brought experience. Like he kind of understands all the fronts and all the stunts. So whenever it comes down to blitz, he knows where to go. Sometimes for some of us, it's kind of where do we go? He kind of just has a natural instinct to find where he needs to be.
How much are you motivated just by 3 and 9, how that year went, or do you just wash it and go on?
Nah, you don't wash it. I don't think you wash it. I feel like you gotta let it be a chip on your shoulder. Just not really to prove people wrong, but to prove yourself right. I feel like we have the pieces here to be a good team. And every day we've competed, and the offense looks really good. We've been real good. So I feel like we're going to be a real good team.
From a player perspective, with the new spring football format, I mean, how do you feel about that? Do you wish it was a game? I mean, I know it's kind of a practice and you guys have some elements, but what's your feeling kind of towards Saturday?
I don't really mind because I feel like the spring game is cool. It's a cool experience for the fans, but I feel like it's not really a day people get better. It feels more like a chill type of day. In comparison to this was like an intense practice, real scrimmage. So I kind of like this format better. It allowed us to get better.
Kendrick, what's it been like being a new guy, and how do you feel like you fit into this defense?
It's been great. You know, everybody took me in with open arms, so the transition was easier. I'm in my 5th year last year, so it was kind of easier moving. I feel like I fit in this defense a lot. Kind of at Western Kentucky, it was kind of similar, just different terminology, so I feel like I'm a perfect fit.
What were you looking for when you were in the portal in terms of, like, were you looking for that? Were you looking for a good fit, or what specifically were you looking for?
That was the number one thing. I would say fit, and I guess I just wanted to, at Western, my head coach was kind of the offensive guy, and I see how hands-on he was with the offense, so I kind of wanted to go somewhere where I had a defensive coach and had hands on the defense, and we all know about Coach Aranda, so that was all great.
We heard a little bit from Devin just kind of about those 3 defensive minds. Is that kind of what you took into the transfer portal getting here?
I would say a little bit, but, you know, it was a lot of different factors that I had to factor in, you know, just not just going somewhere because it's a big school or something like that. So just like I said, just fit. When I was on my visit, just felt at home, you know, and one of the biggest slogans here, like person over player, and that was really big to me. Like I said, going into my last year, that's real important for me.
Has anything about that group surprised you or stood out, you know, maybe aside from yourself? Who has stood out to you among that group this spring?
Yeah, my first day in, I'm thinking everybody was old, how big they were, you know what I'm saying? It's a young group, but they were all big. I would say Carl. Carl is a guy that, how young he is, he's definitely going to be a big-time player. He is a big-time player, and just to see how he works every day.
You talked about the Western Kentucky coach being more offensive-minded. What's that been like, Dave, having so much of a hands-on presence with the defense, knowing kind of that defensive mind that he has?
I'd say it's been great and it's been challenging. You know, when you got the head, it's different from, I mean, you want to play good for your defensive coordinator, but when you have the head coach that's kind of calling the plays and more on the defense, it put more pressure on you to want to be better, want to be great, not make too many mistakes.
Do you understand him when he's trying to explain stuff to you? Sometimes he talks a little bit different. I mean, he's a different guy.
I feel like I'm a big IQ guy. I mean, I've been playing a lot since I was freshman year. Like you said, he makes a lot of analogies that sometimes it could kind of get me because he's a smart guy. But as far as the defensive talk, I understand all of that because I've seen a lot.
Is there anything you think is going to surprise people about this group and the defensive backs and just kind of, I guess, Baylor's defense in general heading into this season?
As for our group, I'll just say just the change-ups. We have many people that could go to many spots, including myself, including others. Like they could play, move all around in the back end, free safety, strong safety, nickel back, dime. So that's been, I think, a key thing for our room. And just the overall defense, just seeing how guys bond together, how everything just want to be executed the right way, and just like kind of the other guys said, just to see how much maturity now, even from when I first got here to now, I feel like a lot of guys, not only in my room, but just the whole defense, whole team have grown up since the first start of spring.
Carl, are you mainly working with the star, kind of the outside cover safety, or tell me what position you're mainly working at?
So I'm working at nickelback, but you can catch me at times playing high safety, playing that strong safety. So getting to work, getting the feel for like both positions.
How difficult is that to try to learn multiple positions like that?
I feel like it can be difficult, but if you put in like the right work ethic, put in everything that you got into it, then I feel like it's pretty easy, pretty simple.
Has it been a change that you've embraced, or did you want something like that, or how do you feel about that shift?
It's a change that I embrace. I kind of love always learning, having a knack for always learning. Whether I feel like I know star a lot, then like wanting to learn just free safety, high safety. I always got a knack for learning, so I feel like, yeah.
You feel like you have, kind of like we asked Devin, you feel like you have a lot of voices in your head, like with Coach Patterson back there and Coach Aranda coming over there and Powell. I mean, is there a lot of voices in your head?
A lot of voices. I'll say yes, but I feel like I like that because like I'm just learning from like all the greats pretty much, like taking everything in for what it is. So like I like it, honestly.
Have you seen a difference in Coach Powledge this year at all? Is he different than what he was last year at all?
I feel like Coach Powledge always wanted to see the safeties grow. And I feel like nothing's really changed. I feel like he's still on us. He still wants us to be great. He still wants us to be better. So I feel like nothing's really changed.
What's the goal for that group, just kind of heading into this year? Do you have almost a chip on your shoulder?
We most definitely have a chip on our shoulder. Coming from like a 3-9 season, that's a bad taste in your mouth. So like having that 3-9 season, put a big chip on our shoulder. In the safeties group, I feel like we can be a big difference maker in making that difference from 3-9.
How much of a fit is that kind of nickelback spot for you? Is that kind of like, is that a good fit for you?
I love nickel. Nickel's pretty fun. I came in as a corner,
Right.
And like mid-season I moved to nickelback star. So like I embraced it. I love it actually. I love it.
You miss cornerback? I mean, those guys like being on an island and all that, but maybe you get a little bit of that even at that position.
At times, nah. I like nickel. I like that I make the move. I made the move, and I feel like nickel is for me.
What are the challenges, or what's it been like going against this offense, a new offense with a few more maybe dynamic weapons on that side of the ball? Has that been an adjustment for you and for the defense overall?
So I'll say the biggest adjustment is the tempo. Their tempo is very fast. But when it comes to offensive weapons, I feel like they do have some great weapons on that side of the ball, but I feel like we're just as talented. So I feel like every day we just compete, and that's what it is.
Yeah, Ashton and Jamal coming in, what have you seen from those guys, and how fun is that going against guys like that?
Man, it's great competing against guys like that because they want it and I want it too. So that makes competing even better. But like when they came in, made a whole difference to that wide receiver room. So
how much do you think going up against that kind of tempo is going to help you guys? I mean, a lot of those Big 12 teams are just constantly going.
I mean, we're just going to be used to the tempo. I mean, it's not going to really be a big change for us. We see it every day at practice. So, I mean, when it gets to the game, let's get it.